Welcome to Aligned for Success podcast, where we help chiropractors create practices that truly serve their life's vision. I'm your host, Dr. Nikki, and I'm here to show you how to break free from stagnation, grow your practice, and rediscover the joy of why you became a chiropractor to begin with. Whether you're looking to boost your revenue, spend more time with family, or simply enjoy practice life again, you're in the right place. Let's align your path to success. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the last episode of 2025 for Aligned for Success. All right, today I want to talk to you guys about my year. So what did I do? What did I learn? What did I experience? And what do I think is coming in the next year? So first and foremost, I turned 40 this year. I know what you guys are thinking, like, ain't no way that this girl is 40 because she just doesn't look it. And she sure as heck doesn't act it. But seriously, if you guys have any skin tips, send them my way because I'm starting to notice my wrinkles more and more and more. But I know that people love to joke about aging and that 40 is holy crap. Like when you think about when we were growing up, the moms that were 40, they just looked really old compared to how we elder millennials are looking today. But I genuinely feel like my 40s are going to be the decade where I just absolutely crush it. I feel very confident in that. And so my 20s, I was in school. I was in school until I was almost 27. And I went to Penn State, got my degree. Then I went to chiropractic school, moved to Georgia. Then I moved to Alabama. And somehow, oh my gosh, I'm still here. But when I moved to Alabama, I moved there with a guy that I met in chiropractic school. And we broke up when I was 29. And I remember talking to my brother about it and him being like, dude, you're old. You're about to be 30 and you shouldn't break up with him. You moved to Alabama. And I was like, just in my soul, I didn't feel like this was the person that I was supposed to do life with. And I guarantee he didn't feel like he felt the same way, that Nikki was not the person that he was supposed to do life with. And so we broke up. And then when I was 30, I got married to Jonathan. Actually, I was 31 and he was 29. That was a bothersome time. But anyway, I got married and we had a baby a couple years later. I didn't have Hazel till I was 33, which in some quote standards is late to have a baby. But I had Hazel when I was 33. And so my 30s were just about building a business, building a family, and just figuring out who I even was and what I wanted to look like what I wanted my life to be like. And in my 30s, especially the first half between 30 and 35, straight up fight or flight mode. Legit, I track my HRV now. I have a very solid feeling that if I had have tracked it before, it would have been even worse, believe it or not. But just being broke, being confused, not knowing anything, having a baby, all of these things. So just figuring out how to actually make money, how to build a business, how to raise a child that loves you, all of the things. But my 30s were just figuring it out. And I feel like my 40s are just going to be just the best. And I have clarity and I obviously have some more confidence than I did. And to me, there's just a lot less proving about the choices and the decisions that I'm making or that I will make. And to me, it's just more about I get to choose and I get to make all these fun choices. So for my 40th birthday, y'all know if you follow me on social media, I did a ton of traveling this year in the best way possible. And I brought Hazel along for a lot of it. So for my 40th birthday in December of last year, 2024, I told Jonathan that I wanted to go somewhere for my birthday and I was just going to plan it. And honestly, I used the help of AI to help me. Where can I go that's no more than one stop from Pensacola because it's my home airport and it's not a great place to travel from. Where can I go for a quick 4-day trip for my 40th birthday? And it said Paris. And I was like, I'm not really into Paris. But anyway, I'm obsessed with Paris now. So I've been back already since February when I turned 40. But I went to Paris and I went to London. And what's crazy is that I went back to Paris and back to London this same year. So I'm completely obsessed with Paris. But that was amazing. It was life changing. It was just like this trip where it was like, I'm literally seeing the world. And so is my kid. But I'll probably own an apartment there someday, just putting that out there, speaking it into existence. So if you hear me just randomly starting to speak French, like you just know why, right? I actually think I'm going to hire a tutor to teach me French. That's kind of where my head's at. But it wasn't just like a birthday trip for me. It was this like line in the sand of who I've been and who I am becoming. And after that trip, I swear my whole year changed. In the summer, you guys, most of you know that I did get a promotion and like a title change at the Wealthy Practitioner. And that had me step more into working with the company. So working more. And I'll be honest, like it stretched me in ways that I didn't even know my capacity would allow. The hardest thing was it's stuff I don't know. Right. Like I've been a chiropractor and like working in a brick and mortar for 14 years, 10 of my own business. So taking that role, it challenged the way that I think. Even when I had to start making canvas, I was like, bro, someone in my office like makes all of my canvas. I had to learn everything. So it challenged me so much. It challenged how my brain thinks. It challenged me how to figure stuff out. It also helped me with how I manage my time, because I know a lot of people are like, how do you do that? I work a lot. I'm not saying that I don't, but I also still have a lot of time to do the things that I want to do. It's because I'm really, really good at managing my time. And I also just had to figure out like how to solve problems. But what it really did was it forced me to level up. I have leveled up so much, in my opinion. If someone disagrees, please tell me, Brandy. But it's really challenged like how I just do everything. But I became smarter. I became more efficient, and I became much more strategic. So like a few weeks ago, I was using CodePen. I was making dashboards with code. Never in a million years would I thought that my brain could figure that out, but I did. And it's the biggest lesson of all of this is that it's not the skills. It's just realizing that I can literally figure out how to do anything if I decide to do it. Someone was like, I need you to do this. I was like, I don't know how to do it, but I will figure it out. And so growth isn't about talent. It's about willingness, and the willingness to just keep showing up, keep going, and putting in the work. This year for me also mattered physically. When I spoke in May, I was mortified at how fat I was. I just was like, I will never stand in front of a crowd again and look like that. I didn't feel good. And so I stayed consistent in the gym. I have a personal trainer. Her name's Christy, and I love her. And I lost 40 pounds this year. So just getting super dialed in, figuring out what worked best for me to be able to get to that point. And I'm really excited because now I get to show up in a way for myself that I have never before. And so I have the opportunity to speak on a stage in January. And I'm like, all right, I really want to see this B-roll and feel super confident in how I look and how I speak and how I present myself. So it's exciting that I get to look at May of 2025 and compare it to January of 2026 and know that I put in the work and that I did it, right? And so it was just about keeping promises to myself. I don't want to look like that anymore. And speaking of which, I also had the opportunity to speak at Wealthy Practitioner events this year, which is crazy. And if I think back to January of 2025, like our pop-up was so small. We were in a coffee shop. This pop-up that's coming up in January, Steph literally was like, you guys, it's a stage. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to be on a stage. So that also feels surreal, and just so grateful for all of the opportunities that I have for just becoming a better person, and the opportunity I have to help people inside of the Wealthy Practitioner. It's the most fulfilling thing I've truly ever done. It's amazing. Another thing I did, I launched this podcast. And honestly, this podcast is a pain in my ass. Every week, I'm like, what am I going to talk about? I'm saying the same things over and over again. That's really what it feels like. And it feels that way too when I'm like show up for coaching calls sometimes. People already know the systems. People already know the strategy. But I'm reminded that people don't, and that people like to hear from me and like the information. And so it's a labor of love for sure. But every week I'm like, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to do? What's happening in my life? What's relevant? And there are times where I don't want to show up, but I do it anyway. And so I've not missed a week, and we'll almost be on a year because I launched it on my 40th birthday. I thought it would be cool and also strategic to post it while I was traveling to Paris. People were engaged in my stories, honestly. And I was like, people will see that I posted my podcast. But it's been a big theme for me this year of like doing things when the doubt shows up. There have been so many times where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing and I don't know if I can figure it out, but somehow I always figured it out. And so at home, my life has been full in the best way. Hazel's at a really cool age. She turns 7 tomorrow on December 19th. And it's just been really awesome to see how she's changed, see how she's making friends. Jonathan, of course, took a new job with the city of Foley. It was a really big shift. It's still a big shift, but I'm getting more used to it. I'm being less selfish about it, but it's good long term. And I do know that it's just been different. And so when you're used to like, my job is fluid and changing, and I travel and I do a lot of stuff. So when you have this like constant of a parent and a spouse, and then all of a sudden that shifts, it's really difficult. But again, so much doubt, but we both just kept showing up. We just both kept doing the things. And yeah, we've obviously made it, and it's working, and it's only going to get better. We also got another dog. I'm not sure yet if that was a good or a bad idea, but a time will tell. But we named her Paris because obviously, but I thought that Paris and Pearl, the name sounded good, and it's Hazel's dog, and she actually liked the name Paris. So now I have a constant reminder of Paris, my dog, and Paris, my favorite city. So Hazel obviously has good taste. But when I look ahead to 2026, I was thinking about like how this year feels different, like the upcoming year. Usually when I have a really good year, and I touched on this a few weeks ago in an episode, how I used to be like, the year's restarting. How can I do better? Oh God, I have to do it all over again. This year, I feel like I had an amazing year in 2025. I had the best revenue numbers I've ever had. I stopped seeing patients at more times per week. So pulling out of my office more. I have literally an amazing team. I have an amazing, amazing associate, and I'm able to like do these other things. 2025 was awesome. But this is the first time in my life that I know that 2026 is going to be even better. And I literally used to think like, well, it can't possibly get any better than this. This is the top. This is as good as my life will ever be. And I've learned that like that mindset, of course, it's limiting. And when you believe that you've peaked, you just stop being open. And this year was like, I knew that I was actually going to do really well. And I knew that I was going to have a great year. And I knew that I was turning 40 and that shit was about to get really, really good for me. And you know what? It did. And so I fully believe that my next year, my next decade is going to be even better. And so every time when I look back at my life, it's like every year builds. Every version of me is always preparing for the next one. And I'm just done thinking that life is as good as it gets. And with full faith, I'm telling you guys, not just for myself, but for you too. I know that 2026 is going to be better than any other year we've ever had before. And it's not because everything is going to be perfect. It's because I'm more confident, I'm more capable, and I'm more open to opportunity than I ever have been before. And so if you're just listening to this and you've ever thought like, this is good, but what if it doesn't get any better? And I just want you to hear this, that you don't know what's coming. You have no idea. And that's actually the magic of everything about life, is that we need to just be so open to opportunities that we have no idea are even lined up for being in our future. And so just remember that, guys, it only gets better. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for making this year such a success for me. And if you've been listening, I appreciate it, because I really don't know if anybody's listening to this podcast, but I'm still putting it out there, and I'm still going to share my tips and my stories and my wins and my losses with you guys in 2026. All right, guys, I hope you have an awesome new year, and I will see you in 2026. Thanks for tuning in to Aligned for Success. If today's episode resonated with you, please be sure to subscribe and leave a review. This helps other chiropractors find their way to practice freedom too. Remember, true success comes from when your practice aligns with your life's purpose. Until next time, I'm Dr. Nikki, reminding you that a thriving practice and a fulfilling life go hand in hand. See you next week.